Welcome to another bonus episode of Where No One Goes. When recording and editing my last video, I Want to Forget, which you can all go watch right now in the card in the upper right, and it will be in the description. But when I was recording it, it became a little too long, so I decided to take two of the chapters out and make little mini videos separately. So I hope you enjoy this one. It is on Grandia, one of the best expanding world games I have ever played, and I mean that quite literally this time. When I was younger, I worked for a commuter paper in Toronto called Metro. It was a little paper that could. We were owned by the much bigger Metro International Company and another much bigger company behind the Toronto Star, Canada's largest paper. We were essentially a slush pile of priorities in this hierarchy. We got the table scraps of funding, the leftover paper for printing. We were staffed by, quote, up-and-comers who were not lucky enough, which is to say could not capitalize on nepotism, to segue directly into a job at one of the big papers. Despite being
an island of misfit toys,
run as an afterthought or ad rag by a couple of corporate conglomerates, the people who did work there tried to make it the best paper in the city. I love the Michael Keaton movie The Paper.
Got any art? Yeah, I already picked up some nice spaghetti shots on this one.
Love the severed arm shot.
Because it reminds me of how I felt working for that little bastard of a rag. One of the things I'll always remember from this brief glory days of mine was the silliness of the marketing strategy for our content. We always boiled down our audience to something they like to call YAMs, young, active metropolitans. I remember at one of our company meetings, they actually handed out sweet potatoes to everyone to show how serious they were about this new push. Acerbic and jaded as all us journos are, the first thing we said after a deep groan was, "These aren't yams." I loved all the jokes we made at the management's expense, trying to come up with different anagrams for sweet potatoes. Like super, wild, egocentric, egalitarian, tepid, puffy, oblong, trapped, angry, tussled orangutans. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue the same way that young, active metropolitans does. In all this yam talk, the brain trust in charge of Metro also boiled down our audience to two names, Justin and Sarah. "Oh, that's so Sarah," often hear jokingly, but more often from our EIC seriously when talking about our celebrity buzz coverage. We rarely talked about the marketing construct that was the masculine version of the yam, Justin. So there Justin sat, always in Sarah's shadow, never being spoken of. And for me, having played Grandia, I always thought of Justin, the main character in that game, as the Justin we were ostensibly trying to sell to, but not really. He's a little yam boy. This precocious little adventurer had this channel in mind as he dauntlessly strove to find new land to explore his world, and goddamn, he did it. In the world of Grandia, there is a newly discovered continent to the east, or at least rumors of it have made it back to the city where Justin lives with his mom in her restaurant that evokes Greta Gerwig's ideal spot in Mistress America. You'll notice, like most RPGs, there is no dad in this scenario. But I think it's nice that in this case, Justin's dad did disappear on an adventure, so he's inspiring this little punk from beyond. On this new continent, there is an insurmountable land-spanning wall that is called the End of the World. You cannot get more evocative than that. This wall is the main goal for most of the early part of the game. We, as players, know there must be something on the other side, but to the populace of the world, the moniker is real. It is literal. This is the end. Not to Justin, though. Sure enough, after many adventures and trials, you surmount the wall and look out to the untouched world beyond. Except, of course, it isn't untouched, and there is more plot and exploration needed to slake Justin's thirst for adventure. In a brilliant turn, you end up going through this untouched land, finding treasures and societies and remnants of an ancient past as you continue to travel east beyond the horizon. Over and over again, something new, something expanded, until you come back home. There may be a lot of flat earthers in the world of Grandia, but not Justin. I haven't played this game in a long time, but I wonder how he felt coming full circle, back to where he started, in his mom's restaurant. I really ought to take this one out for another dance, actually. What a game. But not all games pull this off. I don't like to be negative in these videos, but one game that misses the mark in my new expanding world genre at every level is Final Fantasy XVI. I don't want to get into action versus turn-based debate here, nor any of its much larger faults. But one thing that's specific to this video and this channel that negates any consideration in the Where No One Goes pantheon is the fact that you see the full world map in the game right away. This is not unforgivable, but it's a deep flaw in video game design to show the extent of your possibilities immediately. And that's my mini take on Final Fantasy XVI, a game that probably deserves more analyzation in this channel one day, and will almost certainly get it. But it just goes to show that just because a game is new does not mean that it's going to be great. And the fact that Grandia came out more than 20 years before Final Fantasy XVI, and still to this day holds such a special place in so many people's hearts, is something worth celebrating. Grandia is a silly, adventurous romp, and it is beautiful.
There is no such thing as the end of the world, Justin.
So, thank you all for tuning in to this second mini episode, this second cut chapter from the, I think, awesome I Want to Forget video I made a couple weeks back. Please go watch that if you haven't yet. And please go play Grandia again. Great game. It has more of an adventurous spirit than most games put out today. And that's saying something. Until next time, let's go where no one goes together.
You still have a very long way to travel.